Okay.
That was, yeah, 5.6 feet off.
Okay. Okay, that's just the way they go.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
picture.
Well, yes. GIS.
Yeah.
We always.
The neighbor's house.
Yeah.
That's also saying that.
I know.
It's all that whole parcel.
To the left of it, that's right.
Oh, so is that,
Cause it's the create,
The,
to the right.
Gales used to live, the, where the Plutos, yeah.
okay,
Is Jackie your own spot? This one's Jackie's.
But they own, the thing is, last case, they own both lots and it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
They're doing away with the 35-foot strip,
Yeah.
combining with the
Yeah.
triangle, color.
this is,
And there's no,
you have property.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they already own it. So it would be an issue if somebody else.
There's one person
Sure.
online.
Yeah. Any discussion? Any members? Steve, do you have anything? Well, recommendation coming up and one's coming not. Any public? Have any concerns? Questions?
Person online.
And the person online? Have anything? All right. Looks to me like for the claims, is doing away with another non-conforming lot. Anybody else have anything on that? I entertain a motion.
We have to do the findings.
Pardon?
Findings.
Oh, findings. Not used to doing it on replat. Not like we're building anything. All right, same thing. Commission shall determine if the plat conforms to the principles and standards that are required by the subdivision regulations. You agree or disagree? Due regard shall be shown for all natural features such as tree growth, watercourse, historic spots, or similar conditions which is preserved or add attractiveness and value to the proposed development. Agree or disagree? Due consideration shall be given to prevention of air, stream pollution, proper treatment, disposal of refuse and other waste, and elimination of other blighting characteristics. Agree or disagree? And the subdivision layout shall be of such character that protects public health, safety, and general welfare of the town of Culver and its residents. Agree or disagree? So if nobody has disagreed, all agree. I entertain a motion.
A motion to go ahead and approve case 2023 P025, the replatting of 147 North Paris.
Second,
Second.
first and second. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? You can't bring the two of these at any meeting.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hey, thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, moving forward. Public hearing on recommend revisions to the building permit and improvement location fees for the town of Cole. Entertain a motion to open public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right. And I'm proposing that our building commissioner is the one proposing the,
I am.
okay,
The Culver Building Permit Improvement Location fees have not been updated since 2018. The Culver ordinance states the building commissioner shall maintain a schedule of fees for all applications, permits, and other processes outlined in Culver's zoning ordinance. The building commissioner shall review the fee schedule annually and bring any necessary revisions to the attention of the Plan Commission and the Culver Town Council. All fees are intended to defray administrative cost of such duties and powers to the town of Culver and to make sure the taxpayers are not burdened with these costs. On January 1st, 2024, Marshall County will be using the new fee schedule, increasing some of their fees to reflect the cost of the applications and associated costs. Culver must adjust our fees accordingly. I've been working on a new fee schedule that more closely reflects the cost to Culver for these services. Culver's fees are separate from the county's fees. I've not found any supporting documentation how the current Culver fees were calculated. I have used the real cost associated with processing the applications. I believe this better reflects the true cost to Culver. The purpose of the Culver fee schedule, the proposed Culver fee schedule aligns with Marshall County, whose system we use. This will also add some more specific categories for Culver.
while he's handing these out, I would let the board know that I have reviewed these with our building commissioner. And with everything he has shown as far as his research on cost and everything else. And I have seen that everything he has proposed still is in the same beneficial properties for Culver. So it's not cost control in the money, but it shows that maybe we have been a little high on some things
Yes.
and a little low on other things. So I mean, this proposal does reflect that, and it does kind of amend a lot of the.
So I'm happy to go down item by item on this. But I would prefer to keep it general and
Yeah,
explain the reasoning behind this.
it might be quicker if
I'm on the first page, and on the first page, and if you look, the first column says structure, the type of structure is in that column. Sorry about the small type. The second column says county fees. These will be the county fees that take effect on January 1st of 2024.
The question I have, looking at Culver current fees, there's a set.
If I may,
Go ahead.
I'll go through this then,
Yeah.
and then I'll
If
ask if you
there's
have
questions,
questions.
we'll do
I
that.
think we'll move quicker.
Yeah,
So I'll get to that. Culver's current fees are listed here. As you can see, there's a lot of blank lines in here. We didn't have anything specific for that. So again, this structure is following Marshall County structure, and which is also the system that we use. We're using the county system. So as we just looked, and I'll just point the one section out, as we looked at the commercial buildings previously, anything over 2,000 square feet was 25 cents a square foot. Now you'll see there's flat rates up to 10,000 square feet. And that's where a total of 25 cents per square foot will be. Previously, Culver had 25 cents a square foot and the county had 6 cents a square foot. So now we standardize our fees. And in many cases, these fees are going to be, for the building permit part of this, the fees will be lower. But on that note, the reason they're lower is these fees will justify our actual cost. Previously, I could not figure out where any of those fees, how they were established. I don't have any information on that, except just the fee schedule from 2018. So these went through, and I did work with Ty Adlet County also for the fees of what Culver should get for building permits. And again, in the vast majority of these cases, now, it's not all, but almost all, the fees are going to be less for Culver's portion. But the county's portion is going up, which will reflect the county's true cost. For the plan commission, you have the planning director, you have his staff. We got their hourly time on this. You have an inspector that works for the county building commissioners, inspector. He's going out on the road constantly doing the inspections. So they got vehicles, they got wages, fuel, insurance. So they calculated all these things in for the county. And then the next column is Culver's recommended new fees versus what they were. And then in the far right column is the total fee that will be for Marshall County and Culver combined. So these fees are less, and this, so far, this is just a building permit site on this page. So any questions for me?
I've got one. I know we're going to do this, but I know there was discussion about Marshall County raising their fees on some things as far as when they're starting January 1st. And I know that it was actually going to take part of what Culver was getting before if they did, right?
There are several cases where Culver would not get anything based on the increases of the county.
So we would be reduced in what we got due to that.
Yes, that's why we needed to make some adjustments.
And so those adjustments were on here.
Yes,
Okay. This will make it clear for everybody.
thank you. Well, any questions?
In theory, this is like generally reviewed yearly to make sure the costs are in line with, or the fees are in line with cost
Yes,
in theory.
that's the purpose. Our ordinance, in our zoning ordinance, it specifically states that I'm to review it on an annual basis. Building commissioner is.
Yeah.
I don't have any evidence where it's been reviewed since 2018.
Okay.
And I'll repeat that I have no documentation as to how the previous numbers were determined.
But do you know
And
how?
I have no documentation as far as any of the minutes for that either. So just for the record.
The other thing was cost versus revenue generated. So over the last, from 2018 to now, do we know how much the building cost was versus how much we actually got from permits?
I don't have all that.
Okay, that's fine.
And in theory, we should make money. We should cut.
Exactly. So that's why I'm wondering how much we
Right.
generated versus how much we actually. Yeah.
Let's make sure the people
Yeah,
that
not
are,
necessary, but
that
yeah.
are doing the building or requesting whatever type of application cover their costs so we don't burden the taxpayer with additional costs. And if there's no questions on that page, the second page is where there are definitely increases for actual cost. And these are going to be for plan commission and BZA cases. I captured a majority of the cost. I have some notes here from I captured a majority of the cost, which are inclusive of a lot of things. So everyone knows when we have to do, when I have to publish any kind of, we're going to do any public hearing for or any legal thing, when I have to publish a legal notice, pretty much for anything comes before
Right.
the BZA and Plan Commission. So with that in mind, to start with, and then I have to mail letters
Anybody within-
to everybody within 300 feet of that property. And then I averaged it for 45 mailings per case, which is fairly, it's pretty close number. Some are considerably more, some are considerably less, but that's about average. So we're looking at 60, if you have 45 mailings, you have stamps at 63 cents a piece, there's $28.35.
Oh, that's already normal.
Is it?
66 cents and it's going up.
Okay, so I guess next year I'll revisit this next year. The copies, so we pay for a colored copy on our copier 7 cents copy.
You guys got dollar in front of it.
If I have to go to the courthouse to get a legal description for property for publishing, I have to pay or to the county building, I have to pay the county recorder's office $1. Cost $40 for the legal ads
In the paper.
and to put in the paper. That's $40 an ad. I get mileage. I use my personal vehicle. I don't get to drive one of the new police cars.
You can have
Steve.
dump truck.
But it's based on government mileage of 0.655 cents per mile. So depending on if I'm going to the county building, a lot of times I do that on my own, just driving on my way home. If I have to make a special trip, it's 28 miles. If we have to file for a new zoning or for any kind of filing things at the recorder's office, it's $25 to file that. There's my hourly wage that's factored in to this. For each case, around 3.5 hours of my time is what I factored. I don't know, I'm still working on that. I think it might be light, but for this time around, I think this is good for this update.
Yeah. Do you have insurance through the town of Culver too? You do not.
I do not have any benefits or paid holidays.
That wasn't a personal question. I was just talking about the cost.
No, I'm a part-time employee.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
So there's all those different fees that went into this, all those different costs. So we were charging $100 for variance of development standards, special use variance, rezoning request, and subdivision replats. I think there might be a typo on one of those, but no typo on this one, but the actual cost, rounding up, the actual cost was $169.69, so I round up to $170. So those $100 fees will be $170. One goes down the rezoning request. The current fee was $200. That's actually dropping to $170 to reflect our true cost on that. The minor subdivision is going down. Minor subdivision fee was at $500. A minor subdivision is 3 lots or less. So yes, so that's down to $250. A major subdivision went up to $1,100 from $1,000. There's quite a bit of additional time in for a planned unit development, PUD. It was $1,500. It remains $1,500 because I had no data at all. I think that's way low based on some of the recent ones. I haven't been able to collect any data, and those all started before I started. So there was a lot of things that weren't like hours that weren't tracked. So that remains the same. If we get a PUD, then I'll have some data that if time comes to another year, I can more accurately reflect that.
I know sometimes on PUDs, the lawyer's fees alone to be more than $1,500.
So these fees are absolutely all justified and reflect actual cost. So where we might have less money on building permit fees, some of that will be made up on this side. And again, the intent of this is a profit center is to make sure that the people who are doing this pay their share of it and we don't burden the taxpayers. So I'd like, if there's any more questions at all on it for me.
Actually, as far as the rezoning, you're dropping it to the 170, whatever the current fee of 200. I think the 200 would be closer to be accurate because several times in our rezoning requires lawyer present and
The lawyers are on a different fee structure. They don't come out of, they don't
charge.
come out of this.
Rezoning.
That's a different bucket where their money would come
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
out. In a rare case, and maybe,
It is
Yeah.
very cool.
even if I have to have
Sold it.
legal advice or a question for our town attorneys, That comes out of a different fund.
I knew I could do that too, but I didn't know. That it would come out of that. We consider paying it. Good to know. Any questions? Concerns? More than.
I would just say, I think it looks like a, like really thorough piece of work that Steve has put together. And yeah,
So if y'all like it, I'd like a motion to recommend it to the town council.
I think we need to. Yeah, we opened the public hearing. We need to-
Oh, that's right, yeah.
We need to do the public hearing anyway.
Public?
I need to go to the public first too.
I was gripped so much with the numbers, I almost forgot.
But did anybody in the audience have anything to say about this? Any questions, concerns?
I don't know if you remember. And just so you know, um, by a previous town manager, and it was a moneymaker for the town. Because this money goes into the- And he cherry picked lake communities where the rates were the highest, in order to say we could do the same thing. So that's where this all came from originally. And Mike's probably had projects, I've had projects that have, one project has paid the building commissioner's salary 5 times over.
Yeah.
And it's been unreasonable for years.
Right.
Do you have feedback on the current one that's in front of you guys?
I think this is much more reasonable. And I think it makes sense. The only question I would have with Steve's numbers is, should there be a little bit of an inflation adjustment on it, so you're not doing it every year?
The only inflation adjustment I did would be based on what I get paid per hour. And I did that over the next 4
The
years.
mileage will change. Just whether you want to address it every year or not would be my question.
We noted that that's actually required, it just hadn't been done.
It does, yeah.
In the laboratory.
Because.
Yeah.
To do that. You make good point.
There's a different level of review. You can review it and then you can do what you did here, which is a in-depth review.
Yeah.
Known variable costs, better than a.
Why would you take this away from Steve? It's just. It's like it's Christmas morning for him.
I got the feeling there won't be near as many changes next time. What there is.
There is one person online.
There is one person. They can hear you better than they can me, but if they have anything to comment on this proposal. Not hearing me or not responding? Okay.
In response, so.
All right, so I'll make a motion to close the public hearing if nobody else has anything else to say.
A motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
Got first and second, all in favor? There we go. Any discussion whatsoever? Any changes you think might be before we vote?
Just that after, if it does get approved by council, we do an annual review to see where we sit on how much we have generated from fees and costs. So basically.
And by the standards of the ordinances, it said that has to be
Mhm.
reviewed and. it's
But
all-
saying we should do it and doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe reinstating the statement.
So it is by ordinance that should be reviewed annually.
Yeah.
And being reviewed is not necessarily looking for changes, or is it?
Well, a proper review is would be the purpose of the review.
Yeah, I think the
is to
proper-
Make sure that the cost is
Yeah.
still in line with the fees.
Well, this one might be because you put your best estimate in a year, but they haven't been tested against the reality yet.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so there might be adjustments next year, setting aside any.
Right. And I think it should be looked that way as well, but it won't have to be an emotion, but. So, motion,
Motion. Recommend,
Revision of the building permit and improvement location fees to the town council.
don't.
Second.
Ditto.
I had it in there just in case we decided to do this.
Have we got a motion in a second?
We do.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, pass. Keep these so I can review it.
That was the night with the 15 pages.
All right, moving forward. TRC review. Mr. Gorski,
I don't have a report on that.
moving forward.
The president's.
Any old business, new business? And, one thing on here we've got is committee to discuss solar battery storage ordinances. So we know what happened before with the solar, the moratorium, everything else, but we, need to actually do some research. That's in this, the solar and battery storage ordinance. As far as, might want a committee, if anybody wants to be on a committee to
Right here.
Chester
Down.
and Joel Samuelson
I'll be on.
and building commissioner.
I'll be on it. I can't be, but I would like to be present
You
for it.
can't be?
I can. Yeah, I can sit in on it. Yeah, actually.
You can't.
What I can't be, if it's just a committee for discussion, I can't. Yes, I
Yeah,
can.
it's a.
Yeah.
It's a review
It's fine.
committee.
Yes.
To state that
Sorry.
right, it'd be a review
I
committee,
don't want to jump in and then have to jump
a
back out, but yeah.
recommending
Yes.
committee.
And for for the planning commission to
Yeah.
know there's a series of meetings I'm going to attend up in South
In other
Bend.
words, it's not gonna be a voting,
Okay.
not gonna be a voting panel.
Yep.
You're gonna be reporting back.
Yep.
To the full body.
It's not just us, it's the region that's dealing with this currently, and they're offering some continuing education, basically is what you want to consider it, up in South Bend for this. So I'll research that a little bit. Maybe that will be available as well.
I'll give
That'd
you
be-
my
that'd be
email
great.
information and possibly get, if you find
Cheers.
anything coming up.
Yep, no worries.
So we've got, who we have on the committee now?
We've got a building commissioner, plant manager, Joel Samuelson,
Uh-huh.
Chester Good,
Great, got it.
and 4 people. It'd probably be busy for 4 people, but shouldn't be a bad either.
So they're on committee, we need to make a date and we can.
Right. So we wanna, you guys, I hate committee, but you guys can, whoever wants to run it.
I think it'd be information gathering, that's fine.
Huh.
We need to gather information.
Yeah,
first.
gather
So,
information.
recommendations for a day and time?
Just a comment, I don't know if you're planning on having anybody from the public.
Absolutely,
doing
welcome.
these Things, but you might want to talk to Chris Pine.
Yeah, and I have,
Very knowledgeable on this and has a background in it, so.
Yep.
Does have a background.
volunteered.
and he uptown, it could have been a moment of, but he said, I would be very interested in that.
Were you
So,
wanting to be on the committee?
Will be if you think you need me to be, but I don't have any knowledge in solar, so. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know, because I know
I'll learn.
you're a builder, same as Mike. I mean, you're a builder, you know what people want stuff too. And I don't know if you came up on that before, but I mean,
Maybe we can put something out to the public, see if anybody's interested.
that would not be a bad idea, honestly.
I was just gonna say.
Maybe it is.
I think Chris is one thing, sorry to interject here, but I think Chris is one thing because he does have the background and he's gonna be an easy access to resources for education. If we get too many people involved, it's gonna dilute it and it won't have the
You may be
desired
right.
effect.
Chris, he's an expert and he's on the county plan.
Yeah.
commission.
Absolutely.
I'm not, I really don't wouldn't want to put the load on just 4 people, what I was looking at.
Yeah, I do understand
You are
your,
right.
I know your intentions.
I think our next, whatever we have, our next
Oh, yeah. It's not in, especially
Yeah.
if they're
20 months or 21 months that we have left to do this, a lot of that's got to be information.
Right.
So are you looking for somebody else?
No, not necessarily. I mean, unless it's somebody with background information.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being on it.
Let's go.
I mean, you as a building commissioner, not building commissioner, planning commissioner, I mean, More than
Is there a
that.
limit of how
We
many?
can't have more than
Yeah,
three.
That's, yeah,
We
thank you.
cannot have a.
Yeah.
We can't have a quorum.
Quorum.
Yeah.
So right now, technically.
Yeah, because I'm.
Right now, we've only got
Right.
two.
Well,
Adding you to the list.
but if I were to join, it would just be three.
Right,
Still good.
right.
If you don't mind, put me down.
Okay,
'Cause I don't count.
and that's going in a minute, I'm assuming, right?
So is there a time that works for everybody in the day?
Yeah, I mean, with the particular days through the week get you
Do we
on,
need to discuss?
time,
Next Tuesday, for you get.
mornings, evenings, I mean, a lot of that.
Okay. Well, next Tuesday.
No. Sorry.
He doesn't want to hear Tuesday at all, I don't think.
You guys want to settle this after we adjourn?
That's why I wasn't sure if we need.
We,
Yes.
Just a thought.
how about we let it
Good thought.
incubate a bit and
That-
we can get back to that.
If
We'll have a list and I'll
Give
send out an
everybody each other's
email to
phone numbers
everybody.
and let their people give
And
it their
we'll
people.
work it through that way.
All right.
About that building.
Any other old business, new business? We took care of that one. On old business, I'd like to know if there's anything followed through on the Apple property. Just north, they're on, right up,
Yeah, I know where you're at.
What's the question?
Still in the course, isn't it?
is it still in the court? Is it? I mean, it's been in the court for a while. I don't know if it's ever been resolved, come to a terms. I know there's still, the truck trailers are still across on other people's property.
Mhm.
It's never been moved.
There has been nothing updated directly to me about it. So I can't answer that
I
on the
mean,
town manager.
Do
level.
we need to either make sure that they're informed that they
We're
want
talking on
this,
17th Road, they're talking.
right there on 17th Road, just right there at the end of,
So they did have to do cleanup for item. Tires and some things around, I know
they
that had to be cleaned up.
cleaned a
And that
lot.
was cleaned up
They cleaned, I
and
won't say it.
satisfied them.
It hasn't satisfied us.
For years.
So they also, their business was established prior to the ordinances being put in place, so even
It's out of-
zoning, their
it's out of-
grandfathered in.
There's no grandfathered in positions out there at all.
But I would,
Their business is,
They're a business, but I
Their
mean, there's
business, yeah.
things that, I mean, they had to move their crusher and everything back off the road because it was this far off the road.
Mm.
And, then according to anything, they can't have truck trailers for storage. And they can't use those trucks on somebody else's property as well. So I mean, there's several issues there that still haven't been addressed.
make me a list of those. I can go out and talk to them and see what's going on. Them previously, on that, I wasn't aware of anything being on other people's property.
Oh,
I haven't had any complaints from anybody else about materials on their property.
Yeah.
But the fact is they may have some illegal storage, but it's just because their property looks ugly. It's not a violation
Well-
of any,
you say might be, but
ordinance
yes.
that I'm aware of, as long as
Well,
they have taken care of their environmental infractions that they had previously.
they did take care of that. So I'm assuming it's still taken care of. I'm not sure, but you had something, Kevin?
Just saying, we've been through this before, and the ones that are outside of the annexed area, you can't address, even though they're in the zoning boundary, they got pushed back to the county at this point. So
it's a county issue.
you can't do anything. But you can press the county, you can go
Right.
to those meetings and
Yeah.
press the county.
But that
you
wasn't
can't do it.
put to the county, because I mean, when went to county was over the condemning part of it. And then this wasn't pushed to be condemned. This was only pushed due to, I mean,
The county was also managing too with item and some of their infractions that they had previously. Although within our 2 miles zoning, there's still things that legally we're not able to do. Most of that's because our ordinances are not written correctly. So that way we can give the county a lot of that.
as far as the trailers and all that stuff.
That's a county, it's
My
gonna be a county.
understanding, it's a violation of the ordinance, but your only recourse is to go to the county to have them enforce it, because they basically took all that back. They kind of took it away from the municipalities.
And that's been on advice of our attorneys.
That's good.
All right, which they told us.
Only going in 17.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
We the one that
we
was,
knew
the
that
one
wasn't
that
in it. Yeah.
straightened out and it was never brought back. About the property, Hawk Lake, you said that you did leave a note or whatever for them to
I
contact you,
spoke with those people.
and you spoke with them? And as far as them putting the accessory structure on a property without a,
They don't have to have,
primary.
they don't have to have a building permit because it's less than 120 square feet.
right, but you can't even put that on a property without a primary.
So
You can't put an accessory structure on a piece of property without a primary structure on it.
you know how that
That's-
falls with something under 120 square feet.
Where the 120 square feet only comes into not requiring a permit. But it still requires to be not put there.
They told me they plan to build this coming year. They plan to build a new house there.
I sure don't want to set precedents for that, though, even.
They're gone for the season as far as I can tell.
Right, I know if they're gone, but what's everybody else think about that? I mean, right now, anybody,
We're referring to is there's a lot alongside the road that they pull in, they've got a.
just south of the
A
Hawk,
motorhome that
barn.
they pull into. Stay there.
you know where Bill Harris lives? The other house right there when you turn on, that Tamarack, right?
It is, there's a big barn there that says.
It's a big
Hog Lake.
barn.
It's the old Hawks Lake.
The old Hawk Lake barn.
Yeah, it's across from the homestead.
But right past the barn, there's a little lot, they've already put a driveway in, they've got power station there.
They don't, the power comes from the barn. The barn, they have to still have the electric from when the structure was over.
Got a
on that
meter.
side. And they run an extension cord to their,
They got a meter.
I understood they run an extension cord to that.
Okay,
So
but anyway. They've got a structure there. It's like a little playhouse or whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what you call it, but it's a small building. It's less than 120 square feet. It's got I mean, they're using it for something, but anyway. There's no primary structure. They bring their RV in there, they stay there. As far as using it for a campground or whatever they want to use it for, I have no objection to it. But for a primary structure being put on that lot without a primary structure, and our ordinances specifically say that you can't do that,
Or is that written?
look up accessory structures.
It is in the ordinance that you can't have an accessory structure without a primary. structure.
Yeah,
It'd probably be somewhere in Article 6, but
I just missed when they told you they plan to build.
they plan to build this in 2024. They want to build a house there.
So what is the course of action if they build a auxiliary structure before a primary residence?
right.
No, well, I mean, it's what is the course of action?
Is there a minimum?
You're remove it. They've already got the money on the property. Is a, that home,
Take to the court and have it vacated and.
not that you'd have to.
qualify as a primary structure.
Hmm?
The barn.
No, it's another. setback.
I know.
I mean, but
First of all, I have to go look at the
With the
lot, make
bond
sure the
would be
lot's not connected. to
a
something, they have the
godfather.
house on it already.
yeah,
Yeah,
grandfather in.
grandfather did.
I say godfather because
We like that.
they do whatever they want to.
How about I look into it and report back to you at the next meeting?
All right.
That was delicious. That's nice.
I mean, I just feel like if we don't address this, it's gonna come up in the future. I mean, we've already had requests for accessory structure this year on a property that didn't have primary structure, and we did not allow it. All right, anything else?
Yeah, following up with the Hopple property, Bozeman's just outside of town. Do we know anything's going on with that? Still in the courts.
I don't know if it's,
The
if there's
part of-
still anything legal going on with it or not.
Okay, it's just, looks like the whole of being less attended to than it had in the past.
They're new owners.
Mhm.
That's gonna has to be dealt with as far as this goes, and I guess might be a wait and see thing on this one. I don't know.
I don't know if that property is sold or not yet, and I know that there's several people interested. in it.
Well, I know that his wife is overseeing it. And I know they are cleaning up out there on.
I don't know if there's anything illegal going on that are not at this time.
So when you said it was new owners, you meant Boatsman's heirs.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
But yeah, it's the ongoing. Okay.
but I mean, I have heard that both places are for sale
So,
now, but I was that
where's our recourse there? So,
Our recourse is to,
that's still county, that's still all the counties?
if it's unsafe structure outside of the town limits, it would go to the county. We could refer it to the county.
Okay, so-
Yeah, have to be referred to the county.
Why is that not? We're gonna tell them.
Yeah.
Question. No.
Pardon?
Citizens isn't even called a communication.
No,
Nope, but neither is.
it used to end right there, used to end right there at Trader Court.
Your water is.
Anything else? No business, no new business? All right, the building commissioner's report.
With all due respect, I reported in terms of people's this evening, so I have nothing additional to add.
Okay, that's good enough right there. Citizen input. We've got a crowd out here.
And everyone speak at once.
All right, Mike.
I would like to, in front of all of you, compliment the new building commissioner, because I think he's done a dynamic job. We never got information before, we didn't know what was going on. Steve is obviously giving you all the information you're going to need this week.
I've been working with Steve a lot, and I tell you what, I'll emphasize what you're saying. I mean, Steve is on the ball. I mean, truly is. I think he's going over and beyond myself. And I'm comparing it to everything else that I've seen in 20 years. So,
I'd like to say in the short time that I've been on the BZA, which is about 15 months now, that I've seen an incredible amount of information come to us that we never got before.
anybody else?
Grazie,
While we're doing that, I'd like to say the same thing about our town manager. I mean, he has been more attentive as far as what goes on with our boards and everything else. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'd like to take the time to mention our plan commission president. Doing a great job.
I was scared there for a minute.
Is this gonna go on for a while, Joel?
Yeah. Okay. That's enough of the citizen input. Commission members' concerns and input. Now, I think you brought one up now. Okay, commission members' input. Concerns? No concerns about the 4-hour meeting?
Oh, actually, a while back, we were discussing about compensation for attendance for the meetings. Was that going to come from, when it was discussed, it was coming
There
back
was-
down?
There was a letter, is that right, Don? Was there
I
a
don't
letter
know.
supposed to be going to the town
Jenny.
council?
I remember Jenny bringing it up at one.
Right.
time.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It was funny
Kevin-
because somebody brought it up to me that Jenny brought it up, that strongly suggests that I brought it back up for Jenny in front, and I have during a session, during the budgetary concerns, I did bring it up to the town council for their consideration. But we were waiting on an official letter or some type of request,
from,
but I
Oh,
prepped them.
Tom's.
I need to move on it and I need to know what kind of compensation you're looking for. I didn't know what we were asking for. Because it came out in a very general framework. I'm not trying to drop this on you guys, but if you got,
yeah,
like my wife, if you want something, just say it. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, I need a formal number. That way I can approach the council.
Building permit fees go up.
That's why.
yeah.
Fair, fair.
We just took money away from them.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Why don't you go ask for some money now? That's great, guys. Sorry, let's be professional.
Yeah, we
If
should.
you have a request, I'd be happy to take it to the council on your behalf, but I would like to know what you're asking for directly, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
But not tonight, but if, in writing. Yeah,
yeah, it had been brought up and it had been a few months. not-
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you assuming that, and definitely hit me with an email.
We,
Right up here.
we can actually, yeah, we can discuss that. at
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Another
just-
meeting.
I would just say without throwing out a figure that and I'm not sure who's the appropriate person, but it'd be useful to know, for example, what the,
You want?
yeah,
Yeah,
planning
okay.
commission, what they do.
That I can happily provide you.
Yeah, so that might be a benchmark for us.
Sure, no worries.
But other than that, I mean, I've always said, and I'm not one that, I'm going to the town to say we request pay. I just want it to be like a compensation for the time, because we put a lot of time,
I get it.
but
I do.
I think compensation is a better word as far as what it's not that we want to get paid for doing our job. It's more like compensated for the time that we put into our job, I guess.
Understood. There's gonna be stipulations with it
Yes,
as
sir.
well.
Could you also see what the BZA gets up and put it to?
Fair.
I'll bring it up to it. Meeting.
Absolutely.
The request was originally and still is for all BZA, planning commission,
Yeah.
even a TRC for that matter, since it's already, but you know,
I'd be
we look
happy.
at them all, but
I definitely, when I do it, I'll communicate and maybe we can get a set fee and somewhere in between or whatever that is. And
as far as tech review committee, I mean, I don't think that really ought to be included if I think about it, because it's non-voting, it's non.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
recommendation.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I'd be happy to. We'll be in touch on it, and I'll try to find out some variables for you guys. But, yeah, I know you will. So I said I would, but I look good and you do all the work. All right, thanks, Steve.
All right. Anything else? Magic word.
I have a question.
Oh, that wasn't it.
You're that guy?
At one time, when we talked about making your setback 10 feet,
I'm non-conforming.
yeah, non-conforming, did that ever get written down?
Yes.
Or accepted?
It was accepted.
That was.
But after review, thinking about all this stuff and other things that our building commissioner and myself, and not saying we're smarter than everybody else, but I mean, but we've been kind of reviewing a little bit and trying to see what it helped one problem, but might have created another one at the same time. So in the future, we might want to look at
So I should get my application in for building.
that. Yes. Before January.
after the first.
Low prices.
Maybe the information's better.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
There's a copy of the list of findings.
Yeah.
I realize.
Seriously,